Welcome everyone. My name is Mark Ergic, and in the name of Zagreb Guitar Festival and our Music Delight series, I welcome you to this Q&A with Jesse Flowers and Mateusz Kowalski, the two phenomenal young players, educators, performers, superstars on the growing classical guitar scene. Welcome, you guys. I'm happy to be able to talk to you via this technology called Zoom across the Atlantic Ocean. You guys are somewhere in Europe. Where are you right now?
Warsaw.
Yeah, I'm actually coincidentally also in Poland, in Poznan, with my girlfriend's parents. Actually, we're here. They're on holiday, and we're house sitting for a week or so. So I actually live in Berlin, so it's kind of like 3 hours across the border from there.
So perhaps with the appropriate social distancing, masking, and all of that stuff, you could effectively get a beer if there's an opportunity, correct?
Exactly.
Well,
like a 4-hour train, but yeah.
I would love the opportunity to have a beer in person, soon with you guys, but for now, this will do. So congratulations on these performance videos. Obviously, two very different videos, very different types of music. I want to note how interesting your playing technique seemed to me. You both have a certain relaxation in the hands when you play, and I was always very positively inspired by that. Jesse, from the first time I saw you play, this was, I think, at the Zagreb Guitar Festival, maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I remember your left hand being completely like butter. I mean, it was just like sailing around the strings, and that was very impressive to me. And Mateusz, with you, when you play, your right hand is just like, it seems like it's like a fan. It flows, and everything comes out right. So that was an interesting thing for me to observe, even in these videos. I remember, Mateusz, you were making these videos when you were here visiting in Los Angeles, right? And this particular is one of many that you did for the Guitar Salon International.
Yes, it was one of them. It is one of the 8 videos I've recorded with Guitar Salon International. It was at the end of the US EuroStrings tour, and it happened in February, right before the COVID-19 pandemic. So I was lucky enough to still be able to do it. What is interesting about these videos, it was first time for me to really try so many different guitars. It was, I have to admit that it was not easy to record so many different instruments in one day, but amazing experience. It was so fun.
Yeah, I remember that day was pretty crazy because you recorded something like 7 pieces, which is, fabulous and almost impossible to do in one day. And Jesse, your video was recorded and filmed by the Open Strings Berlin team. It's so very professionally done. What has your experience been working with them? There's another video on YouTube that I saw with the same singer, in fact. So what can you tell us about that recording experience?
Yeah, well, that was done back in, I can't actually exactly remember the year. I think it was like in the end of a couple of years ago, anyway. And that was the first time that me and Julia, the singer, had done any sort of recording. We'd concertized a lot, we had a full season together and really knew each other's way of making music. And then that was the first time we got into the recording studio together, which was Nico's bedroom, if he doesn't mind me saying. Nico, one of the guys who does Open Strings Berlin. And it was a lot of fun. It was really interesting to sort of, get into that different setting in our ensemble. And it was a lot of fun also shooting that video. we went to, because Open Strings Berlin, they always sort of have different locations for their videos around Berlin. And I thought, okay, well, I live in Berlin, I should come up with an idea of my own for where we could do it. And my grandma has a friend who lives in this old big house in Berlin, which is just full of old antique things, which you can see in that video. And so then, yeah, I thought, why not? We'll do it there. And we were just looking around the house. And then in the kitchen, there was this table and this little sort of like teapot and everything. And then Nico was like, oh, we're going to do it here with this lighting and everything. And yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah.
I think it suits the ambiance of the Debussy piece very well. And I appreciate also your inclination to play a lot of chamber music. I've sort of followed your career over the past few years, both of your careers. And Jesse, I know you're a big exponent of widening the repertoire for the guitar and you know, utilizing the chamber music opportunities to do so. And I think that's something that, well, we as guitarists could resonate with more and more moving forward with our, you know, performing opportunities, I should say. So I wanted to ask you guys, you know, you're the first winners of our EuroStrings competition. This is essentially a brand new platform. You know, it's making a bit of a splash, but it is a brand new platform. So I was wondering, you know, what were your feelings about winning something that essentially, you know, a year or two before was completely unknown and non-existent, and then all of a sudden, you know, you have won this sort of illustrious title and got an opportunity to travel more and to perform more. Jesse, you were the first one, so maybe we should start with you.
Well, to be honest, I went into the competition. Actually, the competition was in Zagreb, and that was the first EuroStrings festival that I had attended. And I remember I actually was unable to attend the full festival because I had a concert in the middle of it with the cellist, actually. So I remember flying in like really early in the morning, getting up, getting the plane to Zagreb, and then pretty much landing, getting to the hotel, and then playing the first round. And I remember knowing what I had to play and being very prepared and taking it seriously, obviously. But I remember not really even looking at the prize or thinking too much about it. I just thought, yeah, as you said, it was something completely new. And I just sort of saw it as, well, it's a sort of a free hit, if you know what I mean, like a free lottery ticket. And I'll just do it and see what happens. And yeah, and then the final was just the next day, and didn't have any time to process anything or think. Just all I could do was just play. And then yeah, winning the prize was really, I mean, surprising, and just, yeah, it was amazing. And then I think at the time when I won the prize, I didn't quite actually understand like how good it was, because as you say, it was so new. It was also, yeah, all this new information, like, oh, there's concerts in the US and in Europe and all the rest of it. So yeah, it was just a really, yeah, really nice experience, I guess.
Nice surprise. Not bad thing to be surprised by. Yeah.
Yeah.
How about yourself, Mateusz? You probably knew of the project a little bit more since you were entering it in the second year. How was winning the prize for you?
Exactly, and it didn't, the EuroStrings, it didn't feel something, I didn't think about it as something new. I was already thinking about it as like the next step of all those competitions which are part of EuroStrings program. So I was thinking about that big competition as an event, combining all the experiences of all those festivals. So I knew it's going to be something serious, something big, but still I didn't I couldn't imagine, because I didn't know what it feels to be what it feels to perform at so many concerts. So it's just better than I expected, because I believe that getting concert opportunities, getting possibilities to expose yourself, your playing, is the best thing a musician can get. Best thing, really. So
It certainly is a great outlet for anyone trying to make a splash and engage and starting a career. It's a very important notion. And to just give a little sort of brief explanation to the listeners out there what EuroStrings is, if you don't know, about 2 or 3 years ago, I should say 3 years ago, 15 different guitar festivals from around Europe came together to create a platform, to create a network of festivals for different purposes. And one big important notion for us was to offer more opportunities to young players. Then there's, of course, our scholarship program that we're very proud of. The overall networking becomes much more easy and so forth and so on. There's a lot of things that a network can do that together that a singular festival perhaps cannot. So this for all of us was a very important opportunity to use Unity for the benefit of classical guitar and finding better ways to fit the instrument in the market. Currently there's 17 guitar festivals from 17 different countries taking part in this initiative. You guys, which festival did you win from the get-go to become a part of this thing called the EuroStrings Artist Program, something that we'll talk about in a second? Jesse?
Actually, I won the Nürtingen competition.
Nürtingen,
so that's our partner in Germany. And Mateusz?
It was Roost and in Austria, and it was a funny story because I didn't expect to win anything at the Roost Festival because I was playing a recital in Paris, and like the next day at 8 a.m. or something like that, I had a flight to Vienna, and at 12 I had to play the first round of the competition. So it was quite crazy, but still it happened. So, but it was twice, as much surprising as it would be normally. Yeah.
So I suppose the premise of the story here is always take an early morning flight in order to win something, right? Just
exactly.
make it the most difficult for yourself, and then you're going to end up victorious. Yeah. Well, it certainly takes the edge off, right? When you have something so packed together, and then you just have to go from one thing to another. Well, by winning these festivals, you became a part of the EuroString Artists Program. What did that program mean for you? Mateusz, maybe you can start.
The first thing which comes to my mind is that I had a possibility to meet so many wonderful musicians like you, Mac, like Jesse, and getting getting an opportunity to know so many new amazing people, having opportunity to play with them, to get lessons, to give lessons. It was so multi-layer thing that it's hard to even pick one biggest pro. It's just great.
Well, that's good to hear. How about for you, Jesse?
Yeah, for me, I think that for sure the best thing, or like the thing that I now have taken away, which is sort of the most meaningful aspect, was, as Mateusz was saying, was meeting so many different people, and especially actually the cohort of the other EuroString artists of the year that I was doing it. So the other people, my peers and colleagues. That was really amazing to be able to spend heaps of time with them and exchange ideas and just socialize and just make friends. Have the opportunity just to meet like 15, other young, like-minded people, which, you kind of, if you do enough festivals, you kind of get to know different people and stuff. But I think it was a really unique opportunity to meet also in a very collegial way. And because a lot of the time you go to festivals and you're competing. And I mean, of course, like in general, people aren't bitchy or whatever, people are friendly, but it's just a different thing because you're going there, you're focused, and it's just awkward. But when we had this opportunity to go to the festivals and we were there as colleagues and just hanging out, and it's just that was really special. And I've made a lot of friends through being part of EuroStrings. I think that not only on a personal level but also professionally has been really rewarding and exciting. So, yeah.
And nobody had to prove anything, right? Everybody, like all of us, were equal. Everybody has won like the first place. So it was just about music and relationships and things like that.
Would you say that perhaps this is the biggest difference of any type of similar touring programs that are offered around the world for young professional guitarists?
Maybe I don't know. I don't even know what I could or would compare it to, because I don't really know that there is anything in the guitar world, at least that I'm aware of.
But most of the competitions usually give you money and concerts, usually, or recording a CD, right? And here you can really like meet so many new musicians, work with them, play with them. It's something different. It's what Mac told before. It's all about networking, right?
Yeah. So it brings to the fore how important it is to forge good relationships and friendships moving forward into the future, because inevitably, all of us, you guys, in 10 years, 20 years from now, you will have your own careers, and your paths will recross again, and having something to look back to that was meaningful is something that I think we could all agree is rather important. Also from the standpoint of looking at classical guitar as being a rather solitary instrument, we spend a lot of time really practicing on our own and being with ourselves, right? So opportunities like this may actually be a slight bit more meaningful that way. Now, let me circle back to an important thing. I know many young professionals, many guitarists are still kind of wondering, because this is a relatively new network, how to get involved in this EuroString Artists program, how to become a EuroString artist. I guess the easiest way would be just to apply to one of the competitions. You guys mentioned Rust and Nürtingen. There's many others, and given that we're in the time of the pandemic currently, many of these festivals are actually are having virtual guitar competitions. There was Tallinn right now. The festival in Petrer and Tampere had a competition. Zagreb Guitar Festival competition is coming up, and so forth and so on. So everyone out there listening, do follow the news and see what opportunities lie out there. It's arguably, you guys, now it's even easier because you don't need to leave anywhere. You can just like record yourself at home and send in the recording, and it becomes this sort of convenient thing to do. I would like to ask one thing. So, the ultimate goal is to have a program like this for someone like you to have an impact on the long run for your careers. Have you seen this happen at all, and in what capacity would this have happened? For example, did you get any maybe teaching jobs because of that? Did you get any other opportunities because of that? Has there been some benefit? Maybe Mateusz, you could start.
Winning the EuroStrings competition was one of the main reasons why the university in Warsaw, the University of Music, Warsaw, decided to hire me as a teacher there. So it's also one of the best things I could ever imagine. So it helped me a lot. But I think that the most important thing, the most important lesson I've taken from winning the EuroStrings and taking part in that program is getting the know-how how to build your career, how not to wait for phone to ring, right, with concert offers, but to really be proactive and try to fight, I would say fight for the concerts on your own, and just send the offers, be in touch with various guitar festivals organizers or just music festivals organizers, and it really works. It's worth trying.
How about for you, Jesse?
Yeah, I mean, I did get a few concrete concerts out of people who had seen me perform or that I'd met during EuroStrings, which is great. And I mean, I guess I'm hopeful also that just having played throughout Europe last year, some solo concerts as the winner, and also in the US and in Hong Kong and China, that that I made enough, hopefully good impressions and made enough friends that in the future, that's a network that you can tap into. So I guess that, yeah, in that way, I think that it's just another really important sort of piece of the puzzle that helps sort of to build a career.
Building a career takes a lot of time, but it's always good if there's outlets where we can start from. Speaking of the tours and travels, we gathered a few photos from your trips. So I sort of thought it would be nice to share those. So we can sort of comment on the go. So this is Mateusz when you were recording at Guitar Salon, right?
Yes, with Felix Salazar. Great. Oh, Venice Beach. That's where I got inspired before the recording.
There you go. A nice beach and a nice Pacific Ocean should do that. Oh, Jesse, that's you. Where was that?
I remember that exact class because I played heaps of outreach concerts to lots of school kids in LA. I remember that exact one. I did this thing where I played a piece and I didn't tell, there was like a little sort of story behind the piece, very innocent, sweet little piece. And then at the end, then I said, I'm going to play the piece. And then afterwards share to me, like, what did you think could this piece be about? And then one of the kids, it was so cute. This little boy was like, oh, it made me cry because I thought about my grandma who passed away recently, and he was sort of crying a little bit, and everyone was like, oh, that's it. And then another kid started crying and said, oh, it made me think of, like, my dog hasn't died yet, but it made me think, like, if my dog would die one day, like, that's how I would feel. And everyone, it was so cute. But it was so much fun playing for those kids because, of course, they were pretty restless or whatever, but they were also like really super engaged at the same time. Like they were, everything was like, they were super curious about every tiny little detail, which was really, it was really cool. I really enjoyed it.
So these are called outreach performances where you guys would go out and sort of play for essentially really just general audience. It would not be a concert setting per se, but where, and this is another example. I think this was in New York, maybe, Jesse, right?
That was also in LA. It was on a.
Oh, also Los Angeles. Okay.
It was in a.
Yeah.
In
As a matter of fact, it doesn't look like Los Angeles with all the palms and stuff.
Yeah.
Where was this?
It was at this was at a university.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember the exact name, I have to admit. It was in quite a nice concert hall for some of the students and I think some of the staff and possibly their kids, it looks like.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh, and this beautiful place.
You know what? You know the show The Good Place on Netflix? Have you seen that?
I don't know. I should check it out.
So I was in LA. I did this thing, and then a few months later, I watched that show, and there's a scene that's shot in that room, and I was like, man, I know, like, what the hell? I know that room. So a little bit of trivia.
This mansion was owned by an oil tycoon. Doheny was his last name, and this is, I think, called. I will not remember, something gold room, obviously.
Yeah, the gold room, something like that, or I don't, yeah. It was that was actually, it was a really good acoustic as well. It was really that was. Yeah.
It looks like quite a place. Oh, I recognize the studio. This is where Pink records.
Are you serious? Pink,
Pink, yeah, and another famous. I think what's his name? Pharrell, maybe. This is in Venice as well, right?
Yeah, I believe also there's some guitarist called like Mark or something who.
Oh yes, I recorded.
That was because we there's no go you can move on.
This one yeah. This is a whole bunch of empty seats, Mateusz. Where was that?
Shanghai Grand Theater, the biggest hall, the biggest venue I've ever played in. I think it had like 2,000 places, or even more. It was huge, and I really enjoyed this performance because I was playing Winter of Astor Piazzolla, and behind me there was a big cinema screen, and there was a snow like falling down behind me. It was very beautiful.
Where's this?
Oh, it's Louisville,
Kentucky.
Yes, with Stephen Mattingly. Yes, at local university. So yeah. Oh, and that's cool. That's in New York. It was one of the outreach concerts with Hazel Montez. Hazel. Did I pronounce his name correct? Okay, Hazel. Yes, and he runs an organization called Internal Creations, and they try to help kids, teenagers from poorer areas to learn that by a hard, persistent, consistent work, you can really achieve your goals. And that's a beautiful thing. And I have one of the most beautiful memories because from this concert, because one of these guys, the one in the middle, he looks older than he really is, and he gave me like a small train after that because he wanted me to remember these concerts, and that was one of his favorite toys, and it was very special for me. Very special.
Jesse, you met this guy as well, right?
Yeah. It was really awesome. I played on I don't know about you, Mateusz. I played on a basketball court in the Bronx.
No, but it was on the Bronx. It was in the Bronx.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, and Hazel was awesome. He was really.
Oh my goodness! What is this beautiful thing?
It's my future house. Like
it's
from my future house.
Like for the house?
Exactly. It's a mansion in Hawaii, on a big island. I played there, and that was the view behind me. The audience could see.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. Yes.
it's sort of a poor quality picture, but at least you can see the ocean in the backside. So that's
Yeah, but
so.
still, it was
If
beautiful.
one swims for a long time in this direction away from the house, you get to Japan.
Yes, yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
across the Pacific.
And what the coolest thing was the way you could see the whales like
Uh-huh.
jumping out of the water. It was amazing, amazing.
I'm sure it's quite a spectacle. And here you
Ah,
are. Yes.
exactly.
Did you
So
drive? Did you ride any Harley Davidsons?
not this time, but I told to myself that next time I have to do it.
Absolutely.
But I was told that I have to visit the strip area in Las Vegas, and it was really interesting. Maybe not the best place for a classical musician, but maybe it's a good to to see the different perspective on things. But it was a cool place. Oh, that this one is even cool. Like
I
cool.
tried to find a photo, Jesse, of you in New York as well, but I didn't see. I wasn't so successful. So
Okay.
here is my photo, Sean. Is this this is not Times Square, is it? No. Do you remember
Yeah,
what
and
photo was
it's
taken?
Times. Yeah, it's Times Square.
It is
Yeah,
Times Square. Okay.
yeah. I wanted to match with like the Coca-Cola, the
Oh,
Coke commercial with my socks. So
That's beautiful. So it was a fun time for me to find some of the photos and trying to build a presence in the U.S. And this and there's a visa that I think both for you was the first time getting it, called an O1 visa, and it's a tricky one to get. I would like to maybe ask what both of your experiences have been and what suggestions you may have for anyone trying to apply to play professionally, in the US in the future. So maybe Jesse, we could start with you.
Yeah, well, I guess EuroStrings organized a really lovely agents, or whatever the term is, to sort of help me through the whole process. So really, she was just telling me what I needed to give her, and I just did that. And the main bulk of I think she wanted something like 10 letters of recommendation, or like references from people in the music industry, like professors or performers and whatever, all the rest. And also heaps of reviews, like in newspapers and all that sort of stuff. And so I guess from my experience, I guess I can say always collect your reviews and scan them and like have them ready to go, sort of. And yeah, and know a lot of people who can write you references. That's pretty much that's the practical advice, I guess, because it was a lot of emails and a lot of for me a lot of translating, because I had to translate a lot of the reviews from German to English. Yeah, that was my experience of it.
Mateusz?
and I think that what kind of advice I could give to future EuroStrings winners is to have even like very short conversations with famous jury members or people like that about your playing, so they can remember you, and after that you can ask them to write a letter of recommendation or something like that for you, because it's necessary to get this visa.
Just for, I think this is an important thing to mention. One, as an individual, can in fact apply for an O1 visa. It's just the process, the administratory process is so tedious, it's so difficult that usually people go through lawyers, and that comes, of course, with some kind of a cost on the back end, which is always important to sort of foresee. It's not just enough to book a concert. It's especially with performing in the United States, this legality is something that is crucial. And I, in fact, even remember when I guess I don't remember exactly who the winner of the Guitar Foundation of America competition was, but his tour got postponed because there was this legality with the visa not coming through in time.
Even David Russell once didn't prove that he's a famous musician enough to get this visa. So everything can happen.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing, but it's important as you guys mentioned to think in advance about that. So truly make a portfolio of things to be able to pull out from it more easy. Good. So with this said, I want to move into what I call trivia sections. It's just I thought it would be fun to have you guys respond just really quick on a few short questions. So if you don't mind, I'll just we'll do it sort of like I'll ask, and maybe Jesse you can respond, and then Mateusz you can respond. Okay? So just sort of to get to know you a little better. Okay. So question number 1: which is your favorite composer?
Schubert.
Schubert.
Yeah.
Mateusz?
Bach.
Bach, okay. By the way, Mateusz has a beautiful piece by Schubert recorded also for the Guitar Salon videos. Moment musical, right?
Yeah, number 3.
Yeah.
Number 3.
Your favorite luthier?
Oh, come on.
You play an Antonio Spiller guitar, right?
I'll go with him.
Okay. All right. I should ask, which guitar do you play? I should probably ask that. Mateusz?
Tony Miller.
Masaki Sakurai and Heinz Renich. Yeah.
Beautiful guitars. Which strings do you most often play?
The Dario.
The Dario? Numbers? Maybe a favorite place where you performed?
Oh, that's really hard. Actually, it's. I'll just say it. Wigmore Hall. That was pretty sick.
Oh yeah, it's. I'm sure.
I want to be a Michael Bunker, but yeah, that was pretty sick.
Oh, for sure.
For me, it was a little church in Spokane, in the US. It has just a perfect acoustics. Perfect.
Okay.
Best place ever.
You can't beat a good acoustics for classical guitar. That's absolutely true. Perhaps a favorite musician.
Oh, man, these questions are so hard. Like, I guess just to go with the first name, the obvious and the cliche, Bach. I mean, come on, you can't really go past him.
Sure.
It must have. Yeah.
For me, I would think about a performer who's alive right now. So it would be Cecilia Bartoli.
Oh, very nice. Cecilia is amazing. I saw Cecilia perform at the Musikverein for about 2.5 hours, just her alone with an ensemble. I mean, it was just the most incredible thing. Totally oversold. People were singing everywhere. Favorite style of music outside of classical?
Ooh.
What do you like to listen to or play, maybe? Jazz?
I wish I could play jazz better. I'm not good.
Okay. Jazz? Mateusz?
I used to be a metalhead when I was like 15 or 16. So if it's not classical music, then I would go for like a progressive metal or something like that.
Nice. When you play concerts, do you wear any lucky apparel? For example, socks that you never wash, or or undershirt or something like that? Like sports people,
No, I have no. I have one really weird thing. This is first time I think I've ever told anyone this. coincidentally wore the same t-shirt, when going to find out the results of a competition. And both times, like coincidentally, I won the competition. And so then started to try and plan to wear that t-shirt when I was results. That's the only thing I've ever done that's sort of weird.
Okay. Mateusz?
I don't have such a thing, but there's a thing I'm doing, or actually not doing, and it's eating. I don't eat at least for 5 or 6 hours before my concert, so I like to feel empty inside. So
fills the void. That actually answered my next question, which is, what's your favorite meal before the concert? So for Mateusz, nothing.
Coffee. It's just coffee. Yeah.
Coffee. And Jesse,
How does that work? That's amazing. I don't know, anything just with a lot of, I think I like to eat like very satisfying meals quite a few hours beforehand. So like, so that I like feel really full, but then when the concert comes, like I'm not too, dead. So I don't know what that would be. Like something like pasta, some like really nice pasta, something like that.
Party, yes. No giant pizza an hour before, right?
No.
no beer or two, or just a few drinks. Get inspired.
A few weeks back, we had a conversation with Goran Krivokapic, and then Daniel also joined in. And Goran absolutely, supposedly cannot perform on an empty stomach. So they were telling the story where he almost missed his concert because he was so hungry he had to go eat some hamburger or something, So he was running back to the concert to make it because he was so hungry he just couldn't take it before. Okay, and then the last question: most awkward moment at any concerts you've played, if something sort of comes up as being very awkward.
Well, I guess without too much graphic detail, there was one concert with my singer where we had, it was in the seaside in Germany, and we were taken to a local restaurant for lunch before the concert, which was in the afternoon. And I had some mussels which were questionable, let's just say, and made me feel very upset in the stomach. And I resolved the issue like 5 minutes before the concert, and then and felt like completely. I was like really out, like complete. My brain was, and I felt very weird going on the stage after that. I guess. I mean, it was more awkward for me rather than for anyone else. But yeah, that was probably pretty gross.
Awkward. Mateusz?
And for me, it was. It was not it wasn't a strange thing, but it was in general a strange concert, because when I was 16 or 17, I performed in one of the small festivals in this very small village near church. So the local priest just organizes a festival for local people, and the stage was like an open trailer of a big truck. So I was playing in the trailer, and my performance was in the break of a competition, which is about drinking beers like very fast, and the main prize was a rooster. I don't know how it's in English.
Rooster? Chicken?
Yeah, rooster, and it was constantly doing things like that. It was amazing performance, amazing concert. Really, it was great.
That's an experience that you don't forget all that quick. That's right.
Exactly.
Well, very good. So this was a lot of fun. It was great catching up too. I haven't seen you in a little bit. Mateusz, you visited here in February, just before the pandemic. So that was a lucky call there. Let's hope that stages and everything else opens, soon, so that we can sort of go back to the new normal. Before we sign off, I would love if you could sort of conjure a message for all the upcoming up and coming young professionals that are, you know, paving their ways and creating their careers. Maybe we could start with Mateusz this time. What would you say to someone, you know, having an idea of, you know, and a desire to have a career? What would you say to them?
I would say try to find what you're best at, try to find your own style, stick to it, and just try to be a little bit different, a little bit special and one of its kind. I think that's the most important thing nowadays. To just have your own story to tell.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's a beautiful way to say it. Jesse?
Yeah, really like what Mateusz was saying. All of that stuff, I totally agree with. I guess I would also say, and something that I'm sort of thinking about for myself is, don't maybe be afraid of also seeing yourself as more than just one thing. Like, you know, like you're not just a classical guitarist. You could also maybe, yeah, I don't know, maybe write music, maybe do other activities, whatever it may be. But yeah, don't be afraid to sort of like, or like explore other genres or explore anything really. I guess don't be scared of sort of pigeonholing yourself, especially maybe right at the beginning of your career. Maybe like that.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We're also very much looking forward to your playing for us. So this is Zagreb Guitar Festival's Music Delights, and we've been lucky enough to host wonderful musicians, and we'll continue to do so. So stay tuned and follow us on our socials. And, you know, until we see each other in person, best of health and wear that mask. I guess it helps. Bye-bye.